Hi everyone and welcome back. This is part 2 of my squishy compilation where I used leftover craft supplies to make all kinds of squishies. All the ones from this video were made using Sophie and Toffee's squishy gel. You just need to measure out equal parts of both liquids and mix them together well. I definitely overfilled this container a bit because I was trying to make a large batch that I could split up into different colors. The first squishy was created using a thermal activated color changing pigment. This is the same batch I made for the koala squishy from the last video, and I just decided to add a bit more red for the octopus. Then I poured it into the mold and added some glitter as well. This cured perfectly after 24 hours and I was able to get it out without any problems. As always, I added facial features using acrylic paint mixed with white glue. To test out the color changing effect, I placed it into the freezer for a few minutes and it ended up looking like this. The squishy was a bit too cold, so it didn't react to my hands and I had to blow on it to get the color change. However, I find this pigment is quite reactive, so you'll eventually reach a point where you can create the color change just by pressing on it. This is always quite fun, and it makes the squishy feel like it's almost coming alive. This next squishy was also made using a reactive thermal pigment from solarcolordust.com. These are great for mixing into squishy gel because I find they don't affect the curing process as much as liquid pigment. This time, I'm also adding some black glitter, which I think would look pretty cool considering the second version is fully black. When demolded at room temperature, the glitter is clearly noticeable, but after cooling it for a while, it looks like this. I like how the glittery effect is far more subtle and it becomes more visible as the octopus warms up. The third octopus was made using the same batch of pink thermal resin, just with a different type of glitter. I love how you can create so many variations in a squishy just by changing tiny things like the facial expressions or the temperature. The next squishy is a really aesthetic bunny using pure transparent squishy gel and some iridescent glitter. This is actually a color-changing UV glitter from AliExpress, but I find the effect is quite subtle and you have to be under direct sunlight for it to work. This one cured really well and I demolded it very carefully. Since the design is quite flat, it provides an ideal surface for the glitter to cling to. The final koala squishy was done in exactly the same way. If you want to see how I made the molds for all of these, then please check out the links below. This was actually the only mold that wasn't originally intended for a squishy, but it still works pretty well. As usual, try to keep the painted details minimal and only on areas that you don't intend to squish because the paint has a tendency to rub off. The last part of this video features some extra squishies that I made using the Mochi molds from this video. The first one uses liquid from a Rainbow Jellies kit. I love the color of this one, especially when combined with glitter. had pretty high hopes, but was really disappointed to discover that the glitter didn't sink to the bottom at all. The same happened with the koala squishy I made using Rainbow Jellies from the last video. I find this pretty weird because the liquid is clearly a lot thinner than squishy gel, but for some reason the glitter still stays at the top. The next Mochi squishy was made using black Hitohara gel and some large glitter flakes. Unfortunately, I added too much hardener to this one, so it didn't turn out very squishy. It looks more like a stone or pebble made from silicone, and I think is kind of interesting, but it's not that satisfying. The final one was just to use up the leftover gold leaf resin from the seal squishy. This one turned out great, but it has the same texture and look as the seal, so I decided to leave it out of the main compilation. I think these almost look like abstract designer fidget toys for adults. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I wish you all a happy new year. This hasn't been the easiest year for me to make videos because Austria just had lockdown after lockdown. But I really plan to start working full-time again in 2022. I'm Joanna, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!